So I want to spend some time today talking about the CBCS certification. This is the Certified Biller and Coder Specialist, CBCS, certification that was included with your Ross program. You take it right at our own campus. We proctor it ourselves, and it's typically going to be timed right about during your externship, maybe soon after. It just depends on when you actually schedule your own test. And so I always get a variety of questions from students about what's on it, how do I study? So I wanted to address some of those questions during this video. So you do not need to wait until you're a senior or a leaving senior or an extern student to think about this. This is the website that you will at some point create your account and schedule your test at. You will receive those instructions towards the end of your senior module. But prior to that, if you want to come out and look at this website, you certainly can. In your Canvas, now you can just type the website I just had on there, but in your Canvas, you actually have a link in your website links and forms right to that same website. Okay, so it's there for everybody. The website, I would not suggest that you create an account until you're scheduling your test. However, if you come out here and you click on the certifications and then pick the CBCS. Now, this organization does other certifications, things that we don't teach at Ross. You can, see the list of them here. Pick the CBCS, which is the one you'll be taking. And if you come out here, we have study guides, practice tests. Okay, I'm not going to start there. We're going to come back to that link. But it also on this screen has this download test plan. And that's where I'm going to start. And if we click on that download test plan, and again, pick the CBCS, you will get this document. And it's a breakdown of what's on the test. So I typically have a whole stack of these printed that I keep in my classroom because I never know when somebody is going to ask a question about this during some of our downtime, and suddenly I have students wanting this. And so I keep a whole bunch in my drawer so that when the conversation happens to come up, I'm like, hey, I have this if anybody wants it. So this is a great document to help you decide what you need to study. If I just tell you that the CBCS is everything you learned at Ross, okay, that's crazy. That's not a very good study plan. This document is a study plan. So you can see here that there are 100 scored questions and 20 pre-test questions. What does that mean? It means that there's 120 questions, 20 of them don't count, and you don't know which 20 they are. So think of this as 120 questions total. You have 2 hours, which is 120 minutes. Those of you who just did the math realize it's 1 question per minute. That may make you feel some anxiety or stress. Don't. Okay? Most students finish around the 1 hour mark. Some students, maybe hour 20. Very rarely do I have a student who needs to take the whole 2 hours. Okay? So first anxiety buster. Second, it's you and a question on the screen. And that's it. Okay? There's no code books you have to look up to where it's going to take time. It's you and a multiple choice question. Do you really need 60 seconds to make your decision on that choice of an answer? For some questions, yes, that you might want to, look at it and consider it a little bit longer. Many of them you're going to answer very quickly, which means you only used 10 seconds for that question instead of the 60 average, okay? So you'll get through them a lot faster than you think you will. Okay, next. Okay. Regulatory compliance. There are 19 questions, but there's 6 of these, 7 of these, and 6 of these. These questions are all what we're doing in Module 1. HIPAA, compliance, informed consent, fraud, waste, and abuse. This is all Mod 1 stuff. So you go back to some of those HIPAA chapters if you need any refreshers. If you're not sure what chapters those are, ask your instructor. Say, hey, what chapters was it that we learned HIPAA? If we're all online, you can ask me. Okay? If you don't have a on-campus instructor yet. The next section is on claims processing. 28 total questions, 14 here and 14 here. So the first ones are claims transmission errors. Those are when we do the electronic claims chapter. Differentiate between primaries and secondaries. Clean and dirty claims, timely filing and coordination of benefits. A lot of that is Module 1 stuff. We covered that in, I believe, also Module 4 and a little bit in 2. So we do that in a couple different mods. The second part of it is the claim form. We do that every module, although we've skipped it the last couple here online, but actually just this morning I recorded the claims video here for Module 1 that'll be going up into Canvas, so I know we're doing it this mod. So you have 14 questions from this section. Where do the NPI numbers go on the claim form? 3 different spots NPIs go. Look at the claim form, find them, know those field numbers. Where do the place of service and the diagnosis codes go? Where do the modifiers go? Where does an authorization code go? And how do we designate primary versus secondary insurance on the claim form? So review your claim form and know it. We have 10 questions from front end duties. These are mostly Module 3 type things because that's our front desk mod. That's what I always call it. However, I'm getting ready still today to record a bonus insurance lecture to put into Canvas here in the mod that we're currently in. So, watch that bonus insurance lecture. Is it graded? No. You going to be tested on it? Well, a CBCS test you will. Okay? So, you should always be watching some of these bonus lectures that I'm getting ready to start recording for the mod. So, we have 10 questions on verifying patient information and the insurance cards. So we're actually going to talk about how to read an insurance card. And we do that in a couple different mods. I'm going to cover it in this bonus lecture here. Talking about verifying eligibility to see what benefits a patient has. Again, something that's going to be in this bonus lecture. Birthday rule. 2 questions on identifying insurance and understanding the difference between commercial versus government insurance and the HMOs and PPOs. Referrals and authorizations and having to do with balance due, copays, deductibles, and coinsurances. 23 questions regarding payment adjudication. That is all Mod 4. Analyzing the money side of it. Here's your billing stuff. It was called Mod 4, the billing mod. Analyzing the aging report, posting payments and calculating write-offs, reading a remittance advice, also known as an EOB, and understanding reasons for insurance denials. Okay, so there is your test breakdown for the certification test. Back to the NHA website. I'm going back here now to click on this, study guides, practice tests, and more. These are all of the materials that NHA sells. Yes, these are not free materials. I've got some tips on that though. Okay, So, you don't need the application. Ross pays for that. They have an online practice test, an online study guide, or a combo of those two things. A printed study guide, in case you don't want online, you actually want a booklet, you can get that. And then this is the printed study guide and the practice test. So, I have had a number of students purchase the printed study guide. So, because they brought it into class and other people have looked at it and stuff, and so I hear what I always tell the students who have purchased it is pass it on. Hand it down to the next student when you're done with it. Since you paid for it, ask them to throw you a few bucks because they're now getting it for a very discounted price. I also suggest that if it's sitting around on your shelf at home just gathering dust, donate it back to me, and I would love to have some in the classroom that students can borrow. I do have one in my classroom. I only have one. Many years, none of them, only one has been donated back to me. I do not let it leave the classroom. When I have lent it out for people to take home, it has been very difficult to get them to give it back to me because by that time they're normally on externship, and so I don't see them, and it's been very difficult. It was a very long time for me the last time I lent it out, so I'm back to not lending it out. Sorry. But you can use it in class, you can stay after. There's options. Okay, so now let's look at some of these. If you buy just the practice test, it's $39. Let me tell you what you get, though. You get 3 unique versions, so you get 3 tests, and you can access each test 2 times. So you can do it, study, do it again. Do a different one, study, do it again. I have had students buddy up, and they share the cost of that $39, and each of them do the test 1 time each. So you get 3 different tests, but you only get to do it the 1 time because your partner, your buddy, gets to do it the other time. So that's another option. Okay. Save some money. Okay. Going back, if we do the online study guide, and I think the printed study guide is the same price, that one's $48, but if you buy the combo, it's $69 for both. Honestly, that's a big bargain when you add those prices together. Well worth it. And so you get their study guide. I can tell you there are some practice questions in the study guide as well, and then you get those same 3 practice tests. Okay. Yes. Those all have a price tag. These are not Ross materials. These are NHA materials. I can't do anything about that. I have had students go out to Quizlet, Quizlet.com, and search CBCS. You got to be careful because I have found some practice things out here that are actually about complete blood count, CBCs. So that you got to make sure you're getting a right test bank. Now, these are study guides other students across the country, not just Ross, have created because they were studying themselves. I make no assurances on accuracy. I make no assurances on completeness. I can tell you just from this one right here on my screen, that's not something that's going to help you in any way. E-codes are from ICD-9. You're now doing ICD-10 coding. So that tells me that's a very old test bank because it is 5 years outdated. So you can use things from here, but is it complete? Is it accurate? I make no promises. The best way to study, in my opinion, is to use this test breakdown and go back to your textbooks and hit the basics. Hit the basics. Okay? Intro to insurance that you hear every month. Intro to coding. HIPAA. Okay? All of these things. Follow this study guide. If you are financially able, the practice tests are incredibly valuable and well worth the money if that's something you're able to do. Like I said, buddy up. There's 3 practice tests. Get 3 of you. That's $13 a piece. Share password for logging in and all of you. Or get together and take those practice tests as a group or something. There's ways to figure that out if that's at all possible. Those are invaluable. The study guide, I think, would be the third way of how to study. So if you're on a budget, just do the practice test. Don't buy the study guide. Or see if your campus instructor has one that you can come in and spend an hour or 2 with, taking some notes or snapping pictures with your phone or something like that. But don't take a picture of every page. That's a copyright infringement, so I didn't encourage you to do that. But a couple of sections probably is fine. If you were to copy the entire book, you probably have a problem. So those are my CBCS tips on studying and how to be confident that you know the material that you need to before test day.